Hey guys, this is Raquel here, and I'm going to teach you how to EQ an acoustic guitar. Just right off the bat, know that there isn't just one kind of EQ standard style and kind of dips and peaks in the frequency bands that you can just throw on every single acoustic guitar you ever have. But I'm going to show you exactly what you need to look for so that no matter what miking situation or guitar situation or player situation you're in, you'll be able to apply those techniques and come up with a pretty good sound. So just so you know what I recorded with, so you have kind of a base to familiarize yourself with and compare what you have to. I recorded on a big-bodied Martin guitar. I used 3 different microphones, and they looked like this, kind of like a shootout. I'll move this over so you can see. I have my kind of really cheap, 2 really cheap microphones. This guy's pretty cheap. This guy's pretty cheap. This one's about $300, so it's not your $2,000 microphone, but it's really great. Small kind of instrument mic here, so it's labeled instrument mic. Got my Aston Origin here, Aston mic, and then my bigger condenser microphone. These are all condensers, but I just said bigger condenser here. Okay, so as you can assume, I was facing these microphones with the body of the guitar, so this is closest to the neck. This is really kind of right on the sound hole, and this is closer to the bridge. This microphone here, as you will hear, will be boomier. This microphone will be the brightest, and this one was going to catch, an more even sound. However, you hear a lot of the picking involved in this microphone. So we're going to go ahead and see how to EQ all of these to get a nicer sound from all of them. But before we do that, just one more really big tip to avoid kind of the struggles sometimes you might face with EQ. This is the most important part of your acoustic guitar in the recording process. So if you get your microphone position correct and microphone in general, you will have to do very little with the EQ. But let's go ahead and take a look and see what we can do to kind of enhance what I already have. All right. So just going to kind of go through these here and let you listen and scroll through each one so you can hear what they sound like without any EQ on. Naturally, when I pick up a guitar, the first thing I play pretty horribly, but play anyways, is Taylor by Jack Johnson. I don't know why, it's just I do. So no EQ. This is the nicer microphone right here. Big condenser mic. This is the boomier one, as you can tell. Okay, so that's the no EQ. So let's go ahead and work with our Aston mic here. I want to show you really quickly though, Logic's stock plugin has for the channel EQ, looks just like this. For their acoustic guitar setup, this is what they give you. It's not bad, but it can definitely be improved. My biggest issue is with this kind of shelf EQ they have in here, or band they have in here. What we're going to do is we're going to create a low cut filter instead, plus boost in different areas. All right, so I just wanted to show you. Let's listen also what it sounds like. This is their acoustic guitar EQ. Without. So some difference. A little bit cleaner. Okay, so now let's go ahead and open up a fresh channel EQ here. So we got our factory default. Let's create what we want now. First thing I'm going to do is create a low cut filter. I'm going to cut everything below about 75 because really your speakers cannot hear anything below 50. This is going to help clean up the acoustic guitar quite a bit. So let's listen to the difference. Without. So a little bit better already in the low end there. But what we want to do next here to kind of give that bottom end that we really like is we're going to boost between 80 and 120. That's really that sweet spot for the low end in an acoustic guitar. This one already kind of has quite a bit of low end because, again, the miking of this particular microphone was right on the sound hole. So it has a decent mix of brightness and low end. but I can still give it just a little bit more, kind of just that extra low end boost, and we'll play with it to just get exactly what we want. So let's create a band here at really around 200. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do here, since we just cut out kind of this low end, is really look at the meat of the guitar, the body of the guitar. It's roughly around 240 hertz is really kind of where you hear the body of the guitar. And a lot of fullness of the instrument is in this 2 to 500 range. So let's take a listen and adjust as we need. Let's create a band and let's listen, shall we? We're just going to start boosting and adjusting as I hear appropriately. So looking around 240, listening. That sounds pretty nice right here. I'm gonna go ahead and make this a little bit more narrow though. So I've boosted around 290, and consequently that's kind of giving me a little bit of boost covering between 290 maybe around 150 all the way up to 500. That whole area here has now just been boosted quite a bit. Sounds pretty good. The next thing, the most important thing actually, probably in this entire process that we're going to look at, is taking out that very present picking noise. And the pick that I used is this very thin nylon pick, and it kind of has this extra texture to it when you hit the strings. You hear it quite a bit. So we're going to try to eliminate that as best as possible. In general, the picking noise is found around 1K. So if you go ahead, we're going to listen here at 1K. What we're going to do is we're going to create what we call a notch filter. So I'm just going to narrow this one down quite a bit. Notch filter just means it's a narrow filter. And I'm going to pull this down here. So let's listen. Around 1K. And just hear where the picking kind of disappears, or just, eases up a bit. Yeah, right around here. So 1020. I'm pulled down quite a bit. 24, as maximum as I could here. I think that sounds pretty good. So this right here is really cleaning up that picking sound. So the next thing we're going to do is look at our 2 to 5K range. 2 to 5K is kind of like the clarity, the presence of the guitar. So we've covered really the main instrument. Now we're kind of looking, technically speaking, at the overtones. This is really where we kind of highlight those harmonics. And the brighter you want it, the further up the frequency spectrum you will move and boost or cut. If you want less brightness, you will cut. Okay, so for this one, again, this is already pretty bright considering the location of the microphone, so I'm probably not going to work too high here to get a huge boost out. But let's listen and see what we want to do. I'm just going to narrow this guy out a bit here. Start boosting. Sounds pretty good. Not bad. Not bad sounding at all. So really, I've boosted about around 2350. But again, all the neighboring frequencies have been affected by this. But the last thing I am going to do, though, is this kind of shelf EQ. You can tell it's a shelf here because it looks like a shelf, right? This top shelf here, bottom shelf. I'm going to create a little bit of a shelf EQ just on the extreme high end of this track, because it's always kind of nice for an acoustic guitar to have just a little bit of a boost in that higher area there. That's not bad. I'm gonna boost it a little more. Okay, cool. So that's a pretty good framework for this specific microphone. Now, this is enough information what I've given you here for you to stop watching and apply what you've just learned to your specific EQ. But I'm going to go ahead, if you want to stay tuned and watch and listen to how I'm going to EQ the the next two microphones. So this top one here is the brighter microphone with not very much low end, and this microphone here is the pretty boomy microphone. So how can we clean that up? One thing that I want to point out to you guys that I didn't have going here, what I usually do though is turn on the analyzer. Oh, sorry about that. Let's go on this guy. Boom. Turn on the analyzer. Turn it to pre. We can see kind of the frequency, exactly where on this frequency spectrum our sound is lying, and we know exactly maybe the best places to cut and boost and all that stuff. So you can see I don't have anything going on that low end, so it's okay that we cut that out. Alright, now let's move on to our booming microphone, our boomer down here. I've got my channel EQ with nothing on it. Let's go ahead and do exactly what I just mentioned. So this one again it's got that low end. Maybe too much. So I'm gonna take my low cut, turn on the darn thing. Go pre. You can see here I've got more low end than in the other EQ. So I'm actually gonna cut it quite a bit though. So we've eliminated some of that super low end grossness. The next thing I'm going to do is go to my 200 area, 240, right? Give it some life. Just a bit smaller. Sounds pretty good actually, right around here. I don't want to give it too much body because again, that low end is pretty strong already. Alright, let's go cut out some of that picking. Let's find that pick again. This might have less picking in it to eliminate, yeah. Because of, I should just keep a cycle going. Sounds pretty good. Actually, here, I'm not liking this too much. I'm just gonna take this one out. I can just hear the extra boost that we don't really need. We're gonna head over to our 2 to 5K range, and we're gonna boost probably quite a bit here and even higher than what we did on our last one, because this is what we're lacking in the original recording, in the mic placement. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix that now. So take a listen. Make this a bit smaller. Cool. Let's listen. Yeah, it's getting better around here. Might boost it a little bit more though. Alright, that sounds pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go and give us a little bit more of a high-end presence. Boost the sky, probably around the same range, just around 12K. Boost it a little bit more though. Maybe even... That sounds pretty good to me. So let's go ahead and listen to the before and after on this guy. So this is our new nice EQ'd guitar, and this is before. And back on. So I think it's a more even tone here. Got rid of a lot of that low end that we really didn't need. It was just super overwhelming and gave it a little bit more presence and brightness to bring out a better performance. Awesome. So the next thing, the last microphone, we have this guy up here. This is our super bright microphone. Let's take a listen again. I'm going to pull up a channel EQ for this guy. So we're going to do the exact opposite kind of what we just did on that last microphone. We're going to give it some life on that bottom end. So when I cut here with my low cut filter, I'm actually probably not going to cut as much as I did on the first two. All right, that sounds pretty good to me though. Cool. Before we boost the body, I'm going to give this a little bit more low end. So I just cut out this gross low end that we don't really want. That you can't really even hear below 50. But between 80 and 120 is really where that super low, the low bass of the acoustic guitar is. So I'm going to actually boost there for this particular microphone. Let's listen and see what we can get out of it. Start around a 100. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller though. Start here for now. Boost. That's pretty good. I think that added some low end that we definitely lacked before. All right, let's move over to our 240 range. Let's find that kind of beautiful body sound. I have a feeling, though, we're going to probably want to go a bit higher on this guy right now. Cool. Let's try here. That sounds pretty good, actually, kind of right where it's at. Let's move it around for test. I think that was a pretty sweet, what was it, 4.5? Yeah, pretty sweet frequency range. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my analyzer on. Free. Here you can even see we don't even have any of that low. Oh, we got a little peak down there. But that's why we're boosting pretty heavy on that low end. Okay, cool. Now, I kind of love this part. The notch filter. Drag this guy down and see how little or much we need to. Probably not too much here, actually. That's about right. Just keep it there for now. And not gonna boost considerable amount, I should say, for the high presence. It already has that brightness to it. But let's take a listen here. Maybe a little more. I'm gonna change this guy though, make it a little bit wider. All right, that sounds pretty good, actually. And then a little bit more of that, of that higher kind of shelf filter there, just to kind of give it its balance. But I want it a bit higher. I usually do this guy around 12K. I found that, as we can see here, is pretty consistently nice at 12K. Just how much you want to boost is depending on the sound of the instrument. All right, this sounds pretty good. Let's listen to it before. So, definitely doesn't have that low punch. We got some booty on this one now. I can't believe I just said that. Alright, sounds pretty clean to me. Sounds a lot better. I mean, it's definitely, you get what you pay for. The microphone isn't that great, and the location wasn't ideal especially for if you were just kind of have one acoustic guitar, just one microphone. That's not really where you're going to place the microphone. But it's not bad at all. It's decent. And the thing is, just knowing where to look on the frequency spectrum is going to get you a lot further than just throwing on a stock kind of plugin and letting that be. The most important thing to do with EQing guitar is to get a good guitar player and place that microphone in the most ideal position for that guitar before you press record. And this right here is going to be almost non-existent if you do that first part correct. But nonetheless, there are circumstances and gear might not be as great and you might not be as good as a player and all that. Well, we have EQ and we can use it. Now we know how to use it. But these are those most important things to remember. So for this microphone right here, I just showed you between 80 and 120, really that range. You kind of get, I might even move that guy a little further down. You might get, you're going to get some low end there. So if you really need to kick up that low end like we just needed to on this microphone, look in that range. 240, you got the body of the guitar to kind of boost or cut. Most likely boost. 1K, you're going to want to cut for those nasty scratches with the pick. And everything above 2K is going to give you your brightness and presence. So the more of that you want, the more you're going to boost. And the less of that you want, the more you're going to cut. Hope all of that is pretty straightforward and clear and that this was helpful. If you have any questions, though, please let me know in the comments. I will definitely get back to you. And if there is anything else specific that you want to see me cover as far as Logic's concerned, just let me know. I'd be happy to help. But enjoy. Please keep recording and playing and enjoying music.